Hello, my viewers, all three of you, and thank you again for watching Riding with Marshall. I am at Pinewood Reservoir here in Colorado, and it's a few days before Christmas. So as a special Christmas gift, I get to ride another bike. And this is a bike that I've seen. I've never once thrown a leg over. So for me, it's a whole new experience on these. And so far, I have to say, I'm very impressed. Now, the point of the bike that you're about to see is that if you really don't want to spend BMW money or Harley Davidson money or even upper Honda money, there are options to have fun that don't have to put you hip waist into debt. And that is this bike right here. This is a Benelli 502. Is that a TRK or GRK? I don't know how to read that, do you? Anyway, what a fun bike. They don't cost much. Being only about 47 horsepower, they don't have a whole lot of oomph to them. The torque is even less than that. But we're going to ride it today. So this is a Chinese-made bike at a very low price point. And my buddy Jeff owns them. I'm not going to tell you what he paid for two of them. See? 1, 2, and we are out riding them today. So, yeah, but you get 2 brake rotors with that price. I know some bigger brands that won't give you 2 brake rotors. Anyway, you have it's a inline twin engine, 500 cc's, water cooled. The front forks are not adjustable. But then again, price point, folks. And they don't really need to be. You have a looks like a single piston brake in the rear, chain drive. I think it's a 20-liter tank. I will, of course, correct myself if not. And what came with the bike? Crash guards. Now, as you'll see in the video, I can put my feet on these crash guards and use them as highway pegs. I don't have to put highway pegs on this bike. The seat, though. Look at the passenger seat. This is a wide, comfortable passenger seat. You might actually be able to talk the missus into hopping on the back. This seat here, so far, in the 20-some miles that the bike has on it, I don't think we maybe rode 10 to get here. Right. It's about 10 miles I put on it. This seat is just as comfortable as my Moto Guzzi seat, which is why I bought the Moto Guzzi V85 TT, because I was so impressed with how it handled in the seat. So that's what we know about it so far. And we'll talk more as we ride. Oh, also, LEDs all the way around. All the controls are backlit, Jeff says. You have very basic controls here, basic controls there. And what I really like is a no-nonsense display. Temperature, time, the gear that you're in, your fuel, number of miles. We now have 37 miles on this bike. Speedometer, tach. I don't need to play Pac-Man on this. I don't need multiple colors. It's a basic display that will probably outlast any of these really fancy 10-inch LCD TV screens that half the other bikes come with. Have you ridden a Benelli? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, we're going riding. The engine is a low burble, so you're not going to hear much of it. So to get right to the point, here's what you need to know before buying a Benelli TRK 502. Benelli is Italy's second oldest motorcycle company, founded in 1911. However, they sold out to a Chinese company in 2005 as a partnership, I believe. So Benelli in Italy designs, develops, and markets the motorcycles, but they are made in China. This keeps the prices low, much like a Sony stereo that says Made in China on the back. This also means any parts you need will be coming from China if a US dealership is without inventory. The two we are riding today are both 2022, which according to J.D. Power have a retail price of $6,000. Now for that money, you might explore some Kawasaki or Suzuki alternatives. However, it is unlikely that a dealer will ask for all $6,000 on a Benelli. You can find them for $5,000 new, or in our case, half that due to a dealership liquidation. At prices under $5,000, these bikes are a phenomenal value, and here is why. They are actually really, really decent for a 500cc machine. The clutch is light and engages at the perfect spot as you just release the lever. It is not grabby like the CF Moto Ibex. The gear ratios overlap well. In fact, the gears overlap so well that they are better than a BMW 1250 GS in roundabouts. I entered a roundabout on this bike in 4th gear and exited the roundabout in 4th gear. A BMW 1250 GS would have lugged like a Monday morning with no coffee. There was barely any noticeable lugging on this little 500. I've ridden quite a few BMWs. I know of that which I speak. The front suspension is not adjustable, but at no point in this ride did any of the bumps feel harsh, even on the dirt road coming up soon. The rear suspension is fully adjustable. The seat is supportive and all-day comfortable. In fact, the ergonomics are dialed in very nicely on the whole bike overall. Fuel efficiency might be the reason you buy this bike. At roughly 65 miles per gallon when ridden sedately, who does that though? You could clear 300 miles on it if you had to. The 500cc water-cooled parallel twin engine has 8 valves and feels very refined, with no vibration coming off of it until you are exceeding interstate speeds. In fact, it feels smoother than a Honda, and the reason is because it doesn't use the 270-degree crank that others have been using to give the engine more character and to deliver a pulse to the rear wheel. With an 11.5-to-1 compression, you will need to use premium fuel. And hallelujah, it says so on a sticker right on the tank. Do you know how many bikes I've had to research the fuel grade at my first fill-up? Even the manuals, like my Moto Guzzi, get confusing when they list the required octane in PON on page 88 and don't take into account my elevation. Benelli removes all doubt with a sticker right below the fuel cap. How thoughtful. That should be normalized. The windshield and side shields do a very good job of keeping my helmet quiet, even though they don't go up to the traditional nose height that I'm used to for full buffeting elimination. The design team did a really good job here. Now I'm not here to sell you a bike. I'm here to nitpick, to tell you the things you don't want to find out the hard way. But please understand that these are very minor and by no means show-stopping issues. In fact, you might consider them non-issues, especially for the price. Let's count them down. Number 3, the gas tank is not designed for you to stand up. Your knees cannot grip the tank. There is a ridge at the upper top of the gas tank, and your legs will ride that ridge. Number 2, the front brake is adequate. The rear brake is almost non-existent. It's that single-cylinder piston. You have to lay into it to feel it scrub off any power. Now this might change once it is broken in. My Moto Guzzi is the same way. The number 1 issue is the power-to-weight ratio. Although the bike doesn't feel heavy to me at all, it is in fact over 500 pounds, some of that being the crash bars. For a moderately high compression engine to be putting out only 38.5 horsepower to the rear wheel on a dyno seems pretty low. I would expect more like 45. The torque isn't much to speak of either, at 29.3 foot-pounds. So my question is this: where's all the power from this 11.5 to 1 compression 8-valve engine? However, you don't buy a 500cc because of its power. In fact, there's a lot to be said for low-power machines. Try to tell a Royal Enfield Himalayan owner that he can't take his bike up that fire road. He will prove you wrong. However, his bike weighs 60 pounds less. The power-to-weight ratio came into play on these curves as it takes a little more effort to hold a line. That's not a showstopper though. These roads are salted and we are on new tires, so we have to be careful. There are two models with only one letter to differentiate the two. The 502X is a spoke-wheeled version with a 19-inch front wheel and a 33-inch seat height. This is not that bike. This non-X variety has a lower and more manageable seat height of 31.5 inches, perfect for a 5-foot 10-inch guy like myself. Any taller and I would be tiptoeing it through the parking lots. Now we will see what the suspension does as we ride this nice dirt road. It's smooth. Part of that is because the road is pretty smooth itself, but the suspension isn't taxed at all either on the minor bumps. Watch until the end, and you might be rewarded with some wildlife we get to see in the road. It's December. We are in Colorado. It's a 60-degree day, well, for a few minutes anyway. We'll take it and enjoy it, salted roads or not. And here we have numerous deer mixed with wild turkeys in the road. I'm getting hungry.
Deer and turkeys, yes! This is awesome. Yeah. Hi guys. Or ladies. You're ladies. Gotta get the turkeys out of the road too. Oh, that was awesome.
As we ride off to Smoking Dave's Barbecue, we can't help but be impressed by the quality of ride you can get for prices way under $10K these days. If you buy a Benelli TRK 502, you just might find it to be enough. I've ridden far more expensive bikes with some serious design flaws. This is bike number 181 for me, and it needs very little modification, if any, to dial it into my comfort standards. Cruise control and heated grips are always nice, but you can't expect those at this price point. I hope you enjoyed my video and thanks for watching. Please tell all your friends to subscribe. Every time you do, an angel gets its wings.